All right, boys and girls, it's time for Real Talk with the Pimpcron. And today I want to discuss something that actually was spurred from my Seraphim uh, Saurus Warriors review and in the Want That or Want That Not. And today I want to discuss, I feel, this is my declaration, I feel like Games Workshop should only make dual kits or maybe tri kits. I don't know what you want to call it. So that one box will make two or three, probably just two, different units and with just some bits swapped out or whatever. Now, if you listened to my Seraphim review of the Saurus Warriors, you'll know that I was very frustrated that the Saurus Warriors used to be a dual box with the the Temple Guard and the Saurus Warriors. Well, now they've replaced the Saurus Warriors, but not the Temple Guard. So the Temple Guard are still weak and puny looking, and they're supposed to be the elites, when the Saurus Warriors are beefy and all of that. So it really looks like it should be opposite. But it seems like Games Workshop is actually getting away from the dual kit. We see it time and time again. Now, the dual kits were a little easier to make when things were more posable, right? When you had the shoulder socket and when you had flat sides of your torsos and flat sides of the shoulder so that you could pose them however you wanted, then it was really easy to mix and match the different parts. But it seems to me like a lot of their newest kits are not multi kits, and I have absolutely no reason why they would not make them dual kits. If you look at it from a business standpoint, okay, you have your sunk cost of the, CAD development and all of that of your kit. You have the sunk cost of shipping the box. You have your sunk cost of making the plastic and making it in the mold and all of that, okay? I understand that the cost of making it would be slightly higher if it took someone a little longer to make the dual kit. I understand that, right? I think they are more than capable of finding some of these pieces, even though they may be monopose now. But cut the hand off and make it a different weapon, or whatever. Cut the head off, make it a different head, or just give a few bits and pieces like they used to do with Gene Stealers had the carapace armor that they could put on, so it gave them the extra shoulder pads it came with, and that sort of thing. Um, I don't see why they could not do that with some small bits. Now, I know a little bit of extra work would cost money. I know a little bit of extra plastic and maybe an extra sprue. If the sprue was already really dense, it might be 3 sprues instead of 2 in that box. Okay, I get that. But you would be able to recoup that cost twofold every time someone wants to buy a battle line or a troop and also an elite. You would be making double the sales on one sunk cost, and even shipping would be cheaper. Because right now, let's look at these Saurus Warriors, even though they're technically not the same models, right? The Saurus Warriors, the new ones, and the Temple Guard are old ones. But now, if someone wants to buy Temple Guard, GW has to not only make the sprues for Temple Guard, but then also box them and ship them and all of that. Meanwhile, the Saurus Warriors, they have to make them and box them and ship them. If they were smart, and I have absolutely no idea why they're not doing this, they would combine those two kits like they originally did. It seems like they've gotten dumber over time. And you would, even if it was one extra sprue and it added 2 ounces to the weight of the box, it doesn't matter because now you are selling more of each box. And like I started saying in the very beginning, instead of a dual box, honestly, you would really want to make it a tri box. You would want it to be 3 different things or whatever. And people act like Games Workshop does not have the reins to this whole thing. Games Workshop designs the models and Games Workshop makes the units. You cannot ever convince me that it would not be triple profitable for Games Workshop to make one box. Let's say it's 4 sprues for crying out loud, but who cares? Okay. It uses all of the main body of the Saurus Warrior. So that way you're not worried about the secondhand market. I hear a lot of people complain or they claim that, oh, the dual kits, they're really easy to um, profit off of them on the second market because, oh, I'll take these bits from this and this bit from that and combine them for cheaper than buying another box. In some cases, that is true. Like the Wrathmongers for Age of Sigmar, the Bloodbound people. You can basically use those Blood Warriors and the Wrathmongers to make Wrathmongers and the other kit, which I forget what they're called. The Wrathmongers and the other kit are a dual kit. and they give you plenty of bits to basically just get the legs and crotch off of the Blood Warriors, which were super cheap in the starter set, and then just make more Wrathmongers. Is like super easy, barely an inconvenience. It's not a big deal at all. Where I feel like that's a design issue on their part because they should know that people are going to do that and they are missing out on money on that. Okay, I get it. But if they were smart about it, they would use most of the torso and the legs. Make the torso and the legs exactly the same for the Saurus Warriors. Then you have the normal Saurus Warrior head, arms, shield, weapon, all that. Cool. Okay. Then include let's just say you want to go the old route, which was a little lame, and just give them a different head. Okay, include 10 freaking heads in there with the bones on them. Oh, now there's Temple Guard, which I really, on a creative level, I don't agree with that. But whatever. You want to do that? Fine. Okay. You want to make triple the money? Then make some sort of, I don't know, mystical group or really heavy armored Saurus warriors where it's got an even bigger shield and maybe they just have shields or maybe they're super berserk and you give them different arms and they've got flails or literally any freaking thing you wanted to do. You would be able to very easily fit 20 more heads and at least, 20 more arms or different weapons, just the wrist, the hand and the weapon or whatever. You'd be able to do that so easy with one extra sprue. Instead of 2 sprues in the box, you got 3, and now you're selling triple the product, and people can't even ape it because it needs most of the Saurus Warrior body and the legs and the tail and all that. I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, people. I mean, why would you not do that? It just seems like an absolute no brainer. Now, I do understand that sometimes they don't need any more options. Maybe the book already has a lot of bloat. I do know that Seraphin has a very large book and a lot of unit options. So you really can't really blame them for just putting, making it a dual kit. But make it a dual kit then. It's like an absolute no brainer. And I see absolutely no reason why they would not do this. It's literally a win-win because you've got the same sunk cost, maybe let's say 10% higher, but you're selling twice as many or 3 times as many of each box. The box already has a minimal sunk cost of the actual box's manufacture and distribution, and then the major sunk cost of all the design. It could not be that difficult. I truly don't think so. So I think they should definitely be making every single box a dual kit. Matter of fact, I even think that the characters should be dual kits. I see no reason at all why you don't make named characters or anything like that into dual kits. Make it so that, let's say, you make a named vampire lord, okay? All right, well, they've got, legs a certain pose and torso a certain pose and then arms and a head that's different. All right. Then you can make a generic vampire lord using the same kit. Okay, well, it uses the same legs, the same torso, but that dude's got a different head and different arms, or just simply from the wrist up different weapons. Okay, then you could make, oh, I don't know, another type of generic person. Let's say a vampire sorcerer or whatever. Oh, he's got the same torso and the same arms, maybe even the same head, but his feet are different. His legs have a cloak on them or whatever. And then you'd be getting way more efficiency out of it. I have no idea why they want to make individual special characters just single model boxes. I know they're charging a serious premium at $40 or $35 for one character. I totally get that. But then you should, if you're a company, you're trying to maximize profit, you should double down on that or triple down on it. It should be 2 named characters, or it should be a named character and 2 generics, or literally whatever you want. And oh, it makes a standard bearer. Okay. A lot of times your standard bearers are, heroes anyway, like the Blood Secrator or whatever. So, okay, fine. You give them a generic vampire lord that looks a certain way and then swap out one of his arms and a head and suddenly, oh look, he's got a banner now. He's a banner dude. Like, ugh, I, I truly have no idea why they would not do this. I would love if any of you feel like you have any explanation that's not absolutely idiotic to write in because I cannot think of a single good reason why they would not do this. So That is the Pimpcron's declaration. If I ever take hold, do a hostile takeover GW, with all my pocket change, like I'll give them a lint, a penny, a bit of string, all of that, and I can take over their company. That's the first thing I would do, is make everything a dual kit. All right, I've rambled on long enough. I've ranted long enough with my hoarse voice. I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much to GameAt.eu for supporting the show, and the beautiful, sexy, good smelling Patreon patrons. I could never forget about you. And of course, panhandle3d.etsy.com. Thank you all for supporting the show. I will see you next week.